Okay, what's up guys? So today I had a interesting idea that I wanted to do, which is the top 3 units every single year in Dokkan. So from 2015 all the way to this year, 2024. I wanted to go back and look at what I thought the top 3 units every year were. Disclaimer, I have been playing this game since 2015, so I've been playing Global in 2016, so I wasn't playing JP when it first came out, but I did start to play Global around a little bit after it first came out. I remember my first SSR, I can even remember, I might have had one before this, was the physical Fat Boo, the Super Saiyan, or not Super Saiyan, the Fat Boo SSR. And the first unit that I remember getting really hyped about was the Super Saiyan, the physical Super Saiyan Bardock. And I remember I was really happy about that because at the time he was one of the better leads you could have because he was an all types key +2. And I remember when I got that card, I was very excited to use him as my leader. So I've been playing for a minute, but I will disclaim that a lot of the earlier years that I came with, it's kind of phasey in my mind how good a unit was, sort of compared in like the meta. If it wasn't like predominantly like, oh, Super Saiyan Gogeta is clearly the best no matter what, right? If it wasn't something that obvious and it was maybe more a minute argument, I was not a part of it. Like not until recently have I really cared about like the meta, quote unquote, when it comes to Dokkan. So like early days, like you know, the difference between Tech Cell and AGL Super Saiyan 3 Goku, like I don't know, like back then who was better, like it's, I don't, like there's probably, you probably argue it back then, people were probably arguing for sure, but I was a fucking kid in high school just playing the game for fun, man. So I don't know like exactly. So you know, these early years take a little bit with a grain of salt, but enough yapping on, let's just get straight into the list. So starting off, I have Cell at 3, Goku at 2, and Strength Broly at 1. This one could be controversial. I mean, I know people might like Goku. He was a lot of damage, but I just went with Broly because I remember when I played the game, like his release was insane, and I think really that stuck with me because of course he was the first TUR that came out, so of course he has like the biggest standing. At this point in the game, defense did not matter like at all. Like no one cares about defense. So like Broly killing his defense wasn't a huge like factor. Then you had like Cell. Cell could be really good. I remember back in the day you could nuke with him. He was like one of the first ever characters you would bring nuking with, and he would pretty much one-shot any event. And then AGL Goku, of course, did a ton of damage. Like he was like a huge damaging unit. So honestly, like I maybe feel the least strongest about any of these would be this one. Like the meta really hadn't started to form yet back in 2015, but I would stay with these 3. I would say probably Broly was the best. I also lean with World Tournament too. He was the World Tournament king, you know, he blasted through World Tournament. All 3 of these guys did great in Dokkan events. But I mean, World Tournament, maybe you throw in that, Broly's probably the best. Moving on, 2016, that here I have a little spoiler. Here I got Physical Vegito as number 1. I put Rose as 2 and Super Vegito as 3. I think Physical Vegito just by the end of the year was just the best. I mean, he was insane. His damage counters, like nothing could hurt him. His team was insane. And then same with Goku Black. He was really good. Not as good as Vegito, but he was more well-rounded. He was just able to, he really held the villain team together. You could throw any villain on there for him, and because of his key support, he was like keeping it sort of cohesive all together. Vegito was just an insane unit. And then Vegeta, who had come out earlier in the year, was just still really good. I mean, he was untouchable. Vegito Blue and Super Vegito on the same team was just like one of the best rotations in the game, easily. 2016, you know, we're starting to get a little bit more of a meta here. We're getting a little bit more. This was a pretty fun time. 2017, we have. Okay, this one I think is going to be the first actual real controversial one because I know there are other units. While looking at this, I had You know, they're the other LRs, right? LR Majin Vegeta, LR Goku Black and Zamasu, and all these other characters. And I think you could argue them up here for sure. I personally went with Tech Vegito, Strength Rose, and then in Super Saiyan 2 Gohan. Gohan was just so insane on his release. He was the first LR. And also, let me break it down. I am technically going by JP's timeline here to be fair. This is all JP timeline, not global timeline. I don't know if that's going to change too much. I know that changes Broly being a 2015 character and a lot of them 2015 having TRs and blah, 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 whatever. Like, it changes how that works. I know, but I'm not going to talk about it. This, though, like, I don't, just Gohan being number one, I just, like, that's what stuck with me during this time. But I also, but, like, of course, I know Tech, Rose, and Zamasu are really good. And this should be 3 LRs, because LRs at this time were on a different plane, but Tech Vegito Blue and Strength Rose were just on like a different level. They were basically just better versions, upgraded versions of last year's units. Physical Vegito, and they had these insane leader skills of 120 for all colors. Rose, again, another all-around well-rounded unit who was just cohesively holding the team together, a support, key, everything, and Vegito Blue, who was just blasting away with damage. We were starting to approach needing defense at this point. This is the last year where you could probably argue damage was everything. At this point, defense was starting to get better. Rose was, you know, greatly raising defense. Vegito Blue is stacking defense, and then, you know, Gohan didn't really have any defense. So this is probably the most contentious year that I'll get. Okay, moving on. 2018. Here we go. This one. We got, I think this one was, I mean, Tech, Goku, and Frieza were just so far away the best unit in the game. In 2018, when they came out, they were just like dominant, the most damage, the most everything. And then I got Gogeta and Broly, who were the December releases when the movie came out. They were both just insane. Broly being like World Tournament King alongside with Strength LR Broly. And then you have Super Saiyan Gogeta, who was insane. Dodge unit, guaranteed crit, everything from him was just incredible. So, yeah, I mean, like, I think these were all really good. With this one being more of a contentious one, I think this one will have a little less people upset about it. Other units that came out at the time, you know, they were good, but like these guys were just on top. 2019, we have probably the fun time. Also, I guess I should say, I think 2018 on, like, this is the last year I have TURs in the top 3. So I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I think this point on, it's pretty much just LRs now. Like, LRs kind of then took over being like the best in the game. 2019, it was, I think, AGLK and Khalifa being one. Just, I don't know if I would, like they were one, but I think it's just because of the content being like the Legendary Goku event was what was the hardest fight in the game. And so, you know, fights revolved around them. That's why Tech, Super Saiyan Gohan and Goten, or Gohan and Goten, yeah. They are number 2 because, again, they were perfect for that fight. They revolved around building up. AGLK and Khalifa revolved around building up. Super Saiyan Goku was not a build-up unit, but he was just really good. When he came out, he was actually very, very good. I know a lot of people, there's a ton of hate around Kale and Khalifa and them being number 1, contentious number 1. But I think just because of the content at the time, they were most likely number 1. 2020, we're getting into some new stuff here. Maybe more like a more fun time for people, I'd say. Here I got Vegito, basically Strength Goku Vegito. I think easily everyone would agree number 1. Boo Tanks, Buhan number 2. Really incredible unit. These two for worldwide were very good. Vegito was like unstoppable. His counters were crazy, and hey, guess what we're in now? We're with him being, again, unstoppable, crazy counters. Boo Tanks was really good too. And then Jiren when he came out. You might be able to argue Jiren won, honestly. I remember when he came out, a lot of people were like, oh yeah, he's the best in the game, just because like he was just straight up like ooga booga raw stats, high numbers. He could just tank everything and do a ton of damage. So you probably can argue them, but yeah, Tech Jiren I'd probably put at 3. And these two, just number 1 and 2. And we're gonna see a little bit of pattern about Worldwide Anniversary. I think starts to take over. Worldwide Anniversary at this point takes over. So we see that with 2021 with the best unit in the game. Surprisingly, AGL Mastered UI Goku held it the entire time, or UI Goku. I know some people say it's just UI, and then the other one is Sign. I don't really care. I'm just gonna call them UI. Yeah, UI Goku held it the entire year from anniversary. That is the first character on this list where the anniversary unit held it the entire year. Yeah, because no other like anniversary unit held it the entire time, which is very interesting. A lot of anniversary units aged out right away. Gohan's close. He came around the time of the anniversary, but yeah, no anniversary units lasted long except for UI. He lasted the entire way to be the best unit in the game, and then of course we have the worldwide after. Frieza and Goku, you can kind of swap them around. At the time, Frieza was a bit better because that start of turn defense was just a bit stronger than the build-up defense, but they were both pretty good. Okay, moving on to 2022, and here we go. We have worldwide, Tanabata, and the December unit. So I mean, no anniversary. Again, we lost anniversaries holding around. This one was just, I mean, all these characters. This is also, I think, one of like the most defensive top threes we had. 2022 was like, these are all just incredibly defensive base characters, right? Super Saiyan Goku there, being able to hold down slot 1, you know, he was a very defensive unit. Vegeta and Trunks, who were just, you know, slightly better defensive unit. Goku, they also had a really good leader skill as well. Bond of Parent and Child was really good on release. And then Piccolo, who I think has the longest run #1 unit and is still a top 10 unit to this day. A 2022 unit who is still a top 10 unit in 2024 is insane. Longest run because guess what? He's #1 again. He has the back-to-back #1. The only unit on my list who is back-to-back #1, and I think the only unit who is on multiple of these, well, except for the last one, but it's an Easy A. Non-Easy A unit who is on multiple years in the top 3. So again, this is last year. Piccolo #1, Bulma #2, and Future Gohan #3. I think most people would agree with this. People might put Bulma as #1. It's possible. I know I did on some of my tier lists. I had kind of felt Bulma was better, but you know, I've awakened, right? I've seen the light, guys. We can all say dumb things in the heat of passion. So yeah, I think most people agree. Piccolo #1, Bulma 2. Bulma was insane. Future Gohan was a defensive god. And lastly, of 2024, who again I think most people could agree, Beast Gohan is just the best unit right now. And then Vegeta, Blue Evolution Vegeta, and Mastered UI Goku #3. UI Goku, so I think only UI Goku and Piccolo are the only characters who are on multiple years top 3, right? They were the only ones who made top 3 multiple times. These guys got their Easy A's, but they did not make the current top 3. And yeah, of course, none of these guys are Easy Aing fast enough to be in the top 3. So good for both of them. I mean, I guess like you want to talk about like best bang for your buck units, UI Goku throughout the years and Tech Piccolo. Those two were like always good, like for multiple. They've been good for a few years. So yeah, there you go. This is my list throughout the years. I thought this was a really interesting topic just to go through and see, you know, who is the best every single year. But I hope you guys enjoyed, of course, and I hope you guys are having a fantastic day or night. And I hope you keep having a fantastic day or night. Hope to see you guys again later. Peace out.